Hello, and welcome to another episode of From Impossible to Inevitable. I'm your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for pushing play today and for listening in on this episode. If you're new to the show, please know that there is a YouTube version that you can watch, and the link to this episode and all the episodes can be found in the show notes should you want to watch these episodes rather than just listen. So today I have another episode inspired by being out in the yard pulling weeds. So this has been this has been an ongoing thing, coming up with these weed metaphors. They really just kind of come to me. However, this one's a little bit different because it's not about the weeds themselves. This came to me while I was out weeding. So we have recently gotten a bird feeder. My oldest daughter is really into birds, really into identifying them by sight and by sound, and she wanted a bird feeder so that we could really invite birds into our yard for her to watch. And it's been really quite delightful. I myself am so surprised by how much I enjoy watching the birds eat from the feeder and scavenge around the yard and the way that they interact with each other. It's been really, really fun. I've been really enjoying it. So a couple of days ago, I was out in the yard. I had just filled up the bird feeder, and Luna, who is my German Shepherd, she was out in the yard with me, and I was pulling weeds, and I could hear the birds chattering. Chatter, chatter, chatter. They were along the fence between our neighbor's yard and our yard. They were in our neighbor's trees. They were on our roof, but they were not at the bird feeder because Luna, our German Shepherd, would chase them away. And she would run after them, and of course they'd fly off. And so I was sitting there or kneeling, whatever. I was there pulling weeds, and Luna was kind of prowling around the yard. And I could hear these birds chittering and chattering and kind of complaining. It sounded like they were complaining, like, oh, this dumb dog is in the yard. We can't go eat. And I said to Luna, Luna, I think those birds are talking about you. And she looks at me, probably simply because I said her name, and she just kept prowling. And I kind of felt like she had kind of said to me is what I felt was, who cares about the opinions of birds? She is a predator. She is confident in herself and in her abilities, and this is her yard, darn it. Birds are not. This is her yard. And I kind of felt her say, who cares about the opinions of birds? And I loved that because when we try to do something, whether it be start a podcast or make a project or decorate our house in a way that really resonates to us, but we know that there are going to be disapproving neighbors or whoever. Whenever we embark on something, it could be scary. Even just posting to social media sometimes these days can be kind of scary because putting yourself out there kind of means you're inviting the opinions of birds. Being out in the yard invited the opinions of the birds around us. We could have just stayed inside where the birds couldn't see us and, in our safe little zone. But that's not where the sunshine is. That's not where the work was that I wanted to get done. So really, regardless of what it is that we want to accomplish in our world, in our home, in our lives, or who we want to be, there's going to be the opinions of birds all around you. Sometimes they'll have constructive criticism for you. Sometimes it'll just be chittering and chattering and just noise. Sometimes it'll be just noise. And if we can have the confidence of my German Shepherd and just being like, who cares? I hear those birds complain, and I don't care. this is my yard. This is what I'm doing. This is, my duty to protect this yard. She was so focused on herself and what she was going to do, what she was there for, that she did not care at all about the opinions of birds. So if you can focus in on what you are showing up in this world for, your purpose, your mission, your desire, your goal, then the opinions of birds will just be noise. It'll just be background noise. And you'll be like, yeah, they said this or they said that, but it doesn't matter because I'm so focused in on what I'm here to accomplish that it's just noise. It's just noise. Then as I was thinking more about this metaphor, the thought came to me about people who own birds. These birds are then inside their house chittering and chattering. And while I think it can be a really great, pet for some people, not my kind of pet. I like dogs, personally. While it can be a really great pet, in this metaphor, a chittering bird in your house can be a voice of doubt or a voice of fear in your head. It can be something within you that is discouraging you, that is putting fear into your mind, into your heart. Even though you have this goal, you have this purpose, there can still be that chittering bird in your head that you can just release. You don't have to keep these chittering birds in your head. You can release them and let them go because you don't have to hold on to them. I understand some people like to keep birds. More power to you. So happy for you. In this metaphor, their chittering is not a great thing. Their chittering is just noise. It's not helpful in this metaphor. So if you have opinions of birds, whether it be in your own voice or in the voice of someone else, someone around you, someone close to you, you can release those thoughts. You can release that voice. And yes, this is so much easier said than done. I totally get that. But when you recognize that voice of discouragement, that voice of fear, that voice of, I can't, I'm never enough, I'm not good enough, this isn't possible for me, all of those things, you can release those when you recognize that that's not really your voice. That's not really who you are. Because you are good enough. You can do it. You are capable. You are strong. And you can be like, yeah, well, Megan, you don't really know me. And sure, maybe I don't really know you. But I know that everyone who has lived experiences hard things, and sometimes we fall, and sometimes we persevere and get through it. If you have whatever you've experienced in your life thus far, you've gotten through one way or another. So you have some strength, you have some abilities, you have a capacity to continue to grow and to learn and to accomplish because you've done it before. You've totally done it before. Maybe you're not where you want to be, but that doesn't negate all of the incredible things that you have done, all of the things that you have accomplished. I think a lot of the time, just because we haven't accomplished the big thing that we want to accomplish, that just automatically minimizes what we have done. One time I did this exercise of 100 things that I have learned to do or accomplish. Write down 100 things. And the point was to get so minuscule of like, yeah, I've learned Adobe Illustrator, I've learned Adobe InDesign, I've learned how to ride a bike, I've learned how to make dinner, I've learned how to, all of these things. But to get down to like I know how to brush my teeth. I know how to tie my shoes. I know all of these things, or I have learned how to, or I've accomplished all of these things. So, of course, I can continue accomplishing. Of course, I can continue learning. Of course, I can continue growing because that's what it's been like through my last, however years I've been alive. I've continually grown, continually learned things, continually accomplished things. Maybe they were hard things, maybe they weren't. And maybe they were hard to me and easy to someone else, and vice versa. But you have accomplished things and you can continue to do so. So a thought in your head that says that you can't, that you don't have the capacity or the ability or the knowledge or the whatever, that's not true. It's a lie because you've proven otherwise throughout your entire life. You have learned, you have accomplished, you have grown. So, of course, you'll continue to do so. And the more you lean into the belief that you can and that you are capable, the more you will learn faster, easier, because you have that belief backing you. And if you need to, go back to the earlier episodes in which I talk about how important it is to have that belief on your side, because you can believe you can or you can believe you can't. And either way, you're right. Either way, you are correct because your belief drives your actions, which then drives your results. So that's what I have for you today. Who cares about the opinions of birds? Whether they're birds outside in the world, whether they are birds who feel really close to you, or whether they're birds in your own home or your own mind that you need to release, go forth and do what it is that you want to do, what you want to accomplish, what your purpose, your goal, your direction is. Who cares about the opinions of birds? The birds are going to chatter. They don't have anything better to do. It's just noise. It's just noise. So you can continue on. Go out and be your bad self. Thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate you. I appreciate your love and support, all that you send to me. And I hope you have a fantastic day filled with all the sparkly things. Until next time, bye for now.